I really think it's about time we had a serious conversation about how to get a huge EIN only business loan from a credit union with poor or fair credit. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you're all doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you are to ask me. If you are doing as terrific as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or a tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, we're going to talk about how to get approved for a huge EIN business loan from a credit union, even if you have poor or fair credit. It's very important to understand that. There is a reason why we are talking about credit unions because they are relatively cheaper. They offer cheaper terms, cheaper APRs than traditional lenders. Why? Because credit unions are nonprofits by their status, by their charter, by their mission and vision statement. All right. And one thing you need to understand is that if you are a startup founder, or you own a very young company, or you own an established company, you could still face some challenges to get approved for business credit if you have poor or fair credit. So you got to think about what really that means for you. Okay, and those challenges will not go away unless you start fixing them. For example, if you have a personal poor or fair credit, there are ways to start boosting your credit score, right? Including also looking at your credit score, your credit report rather, and disputing any issue, any derogatory item, any adverse elements on that credit score. For example, you have repos, you have bankruptcies, you also have charge-offs, you have collections. And do you have a startup or a very young company? In other words, a company that's less than 2 years. And you are contemplating more problems if your personal credit score is even worse. Because if the company is young, it means that it hasn't gotten a chance to build business credit. If on top of that you have a bad personal credit, things can be complicated. And do you have sales up or down? Because if you're talking about credit union loans, they're going to check all those things. They're going to check your revenue. They're going to check your projected data, your financial statements, right? They're going to check whether or not you have trade lines at the moment. I'm talking about net 30 accounts, right? Because if you think about it, a net 30 account means what? It means that you are not using cash up front to pay for stuff. And if you have no net 30 account, you are just actually sucking all your little credit, your little cash into payments to suppliers. And there are also some problems with funding, right? Things like equity investors or debt investors. This could be a problem. So the bottom line here is that if you stick with a credit union, this could be a great opportunity to actually build credit and also get a huge EIN only business loan. So now let's talk about the step-by-step to getting a massive EIN only business loan from a credit union if you have a poor or fair credit. Step number 1, you want to join 1 or 2 credit unions. Don't put all your eggs in the same basket. Don't just focus on only one credit union. Try 1, 2, 3. Who cares? And what you want to do is you want to open an account with them. You want to establish a relationship with them. Very important, right? Because credit unions are very, how do I call it? They're more focused on the human element. They want to see you. They want you to visit the branch. They want you to actually call them up, that kind of stuff. So don't put all your eggs in the same basket. You can open one at Navy Fed, another one at Penn Fed, another one at Ameritrust. Choose credit unions that are open to the public, right? Because it's important. Now, if you are lucky that you have some kind of affiliation, let's say you are in the military or somebody in your family is in the military, then you want to think about Penn Fed or Navy Fed, for example, right? Or if you are in a professional sector that has a credit union affiliation, go ahead and use that. And again, you can open a personal checking and or savings account, or you can open a business checking or savings account. At the end of the day, you got to have the business checking accounts anyway. If you want to have a huge EIN only business loan, you want to show the credit union that you are separating, you are segregating your personal affairs from your business affairs. And this is important. And you also want to cultivate a relationship. As I told you, it's important. You want to get personal, folks. You want to visit your branch. You want to visit the nearest branch around. If you don't have a branch around, let's say you are probably in a state where the credit union is not present, call them often. You need to have a rep. You need to have someone who knows your business, someone who knows the kind of a situation you're going through, the kind of circumstances you're going through. Because at the end of the day, the mistake that a lot of people make is to think that business loan decisions are made by algorithms at credit unions. No, they have human beings who sit and analyze the data you are showing to them. And those human beings are humans. They are experts for sure, but they also humans. In other words, if you can present another version, other sides of your business story, this could help. This could help you actually get approved for a business loan. Second step, you want to plan in advance. You want to get your act together, okay? We're talking about EIN only business loan. So right off the bat, I should say that you need to have an EIN if you haven't already. So you want to go to the IRS website and you want to apply for an employer identification number. It takes 5 minutes, you get it, and that's it. You also need to incorporate. There are people who have a sole proprietorship with an EIN. That's good for, let's say, if you just want to run your business, you're trying to cover your ass in terms of legal liability, which is not really always the case anyway with the sole proprietorship. But if you get your EIN for any reason, remember that if you want to get a huge EIN only business loan, or any business loan for that matter, from a credit union or an alternative lender or from a bank or from an online lender, you got to incorporate. You need to choose whether you want to be an LLC, a C Corp, an S Corp, a partnership, right? Never choose sole proprietorship. And as I always say, even if you are a single person business, you can actually have a single member LLC. You also want to clarify your tax situation at the federal, state, and local level. Okay? And I'm talking here about things like income tax, employer taxes, sales tax. Now, we understand the sales tax is not an expense, right? It is just a liability. This is just money you collect on behalf of the authorities. But it's important to be on top of that, because otherwise you'll be audited very, very fast. And by planning in advance, you're showing the credit union that you are running your business in a legit way. Get your permits and licenses. If you are in a sector that is heavily regulated, you want to get the permits and licenses. This is important. Also, get business bank accounts and credit cards. Okay, you can get that from the credit union, or you can get that from other financial institutions. At the end of the day, it's important to have some of your business with a credit union from which you want to borrow. This is important. You also want to set up accounting. Accounting is critical because accounting will generate the kind of data that will actually work in your favor if the credit union loan rep wants to verify things, right? If their underwriting team wants to know your company more, they're going to look at your accounting statements, your financial statements. So set up accounting. You can either outsource it, or you can do it yourself through software tools such as QuickBooks Online or Xero or Wave, or you can even just you can have a third party taking care of that for you. So you can hire a CPA, a local CPA, or you can outsource it to a third party. Step number 3, you want to start building credit. If your goal is to get a huge EIN business loan from a credit union with fair or poor credit, you need to understand how the whole process works. And the process works by first building your credit. And you got to look at it in a dual way on two sides. First, you have your personal credit, and then you have your business credit. And on the personal credit side, you want to fix inaccuracies. I've said that before, but this is important. You want to monitor your credit score. And actually, there are a lot of services out there that allow you to monitor your Vantage score and or FICO score for free. For example, you have a service called the Chase Credit Journey. You have Discover Credit Score Card. You have a Wallet Hub, and then you have Credit Karma. And all those four services are free. So you can fix any inaccuracies. If you see issues on your credit report, you can send dispute letters to the bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and you can start improving your FICO and or Vantage score. And that's for the personal level. You can also think about the business credit side. You want to find business trade lines. It's always important to start small. When people think about business trade lines, they think about having 10,000 limits or 20,000 limits or $15,000 limit. Why do you need that much if you're just a small company, or your company is not doing well right now? You have a fair or poor credit yourself. Why are you trying to go big? Start small, and then before you know it, you will become a biggie. All right. And another way to build credit is to consider secured business credit cards. There are some out there. There are not a lot of them, as you can have a secured personal credit card. But yeah, there are credit cards that require you to have a PG, personal guarantee, or post collateral if you need to pledge collateral. But again, at the end of the day, it's all about starting small. Also, you want to set up a DUNS number. And this is administered through the Dun and Bradstreet. We have a show about how to set up a free Dun and Bradstreet. You will love that show. So yeah, this is what you need to do when it comes to building credit, and which will help you get a huge EIN only business loan from a credit union with poor or fair credit. I'll be right back. Oh no, I still have to cover one section before taking a break here. Step number 4, you want to estimate how much you need. So we're talking about a huge EIN only business loan from a credit union, right? But you got to think about the loan amount, how much you need, and what for. It's one thing to tell the credit union rep, the loan rep, hey, listen, I need $50K, okay? For what? Why do you need that much? Tell me how the money is going to be used. It's called the loan, the uses of funds, okay? And you got to think about whether or not they want to give you a collateralized loan or unsecured loan. A collateralized loan is not always a bad thing. It just means that you're pledging collateral. And in some cases, you're not pledging collateral at the personal level. It just means that, let me give you an example. If you have equipment financing, that means that you are buying a piece of equipment or machinery with the loan, but the machine will serve as a collateral for the loan. It's the same thing as when you have a house, the mortgage, or you buy a car. So the thing here is that it's not a bad thing. You can get good financing, and that sort of collateralized funding doesn't take your personal credit score into account, and that's fantastic, right? You also have to think about in estimating how much you need. You got to think about your ideal repayment terms. Here I'm talking about the amount, the term, the repayment plan. Are you comfortable paying weekly, monthly, daily? Because you never know what the credit union you choose is going to propose to you, right? So you better be ready for all kinds of scenarios here. And you got to also think about whether or not your business can repay the loan. So when we talk about huge EIN only, huge is relative. It's relative to your business. It's relative to your business's performance. It's relative to your industry. And what are your sales forecasts? What do you see the business in, say, 3 months, 6 months from now? This is the kind of analytical adventure I want you to get in to better understand your business and better understand how much you need. And is the business viable at all? Do you have a proof of concept? So, those are the kind of questions you need to ask yourself, and they will help you. Those questions, that is, will help you estimate how much you need from the credit union. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous. I'm still having a conversation with you about how to get approved for a huge EIN only business loan from a credit union with poor or fair credit. And step number 5, you need to substantiate your loan request. It just means that you need to prove that you really need the money you're asking for. Okay. And there are a couple of things you need to do. To substantiate your loan request, the best way is to create a business plan. And we have shown this on the show before. We have actually we have run several videos on this topic. You need to create a business plan and a startup pitch. Remember, if accounting or finance or business writing is not your forte, you could outsource the whole thing. It's just easy. It's easy. You can actually buy software such as Enloop, BizPlan, or LivePlan to do it for you. You can actually download free templates from the internet. You can hire a local consultant to write it for you. You can hire companies such as Wise Business Plans, which specialize in writing business plans for clients. You can actually go on freelancer websites such as Fiverr, freelancer.com, TapTal, right? All that kind of stuff. So, but you need to have a business plan. You need to have a startup pitch. Those two documents will explain why you have the amount you're looking for. If you're looking for 100K, you better show the credit union why you need that amount and what you're going to use the money for. You also want to prepare financial statements. It's the same thing here. If you have a knack for accounting and finance, then go ahead. If you have a knack for preparing and presenting financial information, go ahead and do it yourself. If not, just outsource it. And by the way, financial statements include the 4. Don't do the 3. You got to do the 4 financial statements. A lot of people just do the balance sheet, the income statement, and the statement of cash flow. But there is a 4th one that's also very important, and a lot of credit unions pay attention to that. That's called the statement of stockholders' equity. That's where you see the equity of the founders, and you also have to talk about the experience of the founding team. What kind of advisors do you have? What kind of mentors does the company have? Who are the directors? Who make up the board of directors? Okay, so you want to share the business plan with the credit union loan rep and be ready to make a live presentation. It could be live, it could be over the phone or at the branch, but you got to do that. Step number 6, you want to know the best credit unions for you. Very important here. And when we talk about the best credit unions, I'm going to show you right now 10 credit unions that are open to the public. So you have the Boeing Employees Credit Union, which we have scored 10 over 10. And here the loan amount can go from $5,000 all the way to $250,000. And you can actually join this credit union very easily by donating $5 to an organization called KEXP. So, once you do that, you're in. And they ask a minimum FICO of 575 and the APR up to 9.5%, minimum time in business 6 months. Then we also have another credit union. We have the Alliance Credit Union. Our score for that was 9.5 over 10. And here the loan amount oscillates between $5,000 and $500,000. The APR up to 7.5%, minimum FICO 550, minimum time in business 3 months. We also have American Heritage Credit Union. Our score for that organization 9.5 over 10. The loan amount here oscillates between 5,000 to 100,000. The APR up to 6.25%, minimum FICO 550, minimum time in business 1 month. This is pretty good for startups. Then we have the Blue Federal Credit Union, Blue Fed. And again, all the credit unions, I'm telling you, you could qualify for membership even if you don't live in the area or you don't have the affiliation that they want. Okay, those are public credit unions. So for Blue Fed, if you don't meet Blue FCU's family, employer, or military membership requirements, you can join by donating $5 to the Blue Foundation and advocate for local nonprofits. If you choose this route, you will deposit $10 to open your account, and Blue FCU will automatically use $5 for your donation. And the loan amount here is very generous, $5,000 to $1 million, the APR up to 7.5%, minimum FICO 525, and minimum time in business 6 months. And we also have GTE Financial, right? Another great player here. The score is 9 over 10, and the loan amount, by the way, the Blue FCU, the score is 9 over 10 also. So for GTE Financial, you have the loan amount $25,000 to $500,000, APR up to 8.5%, minimum FICO 575, minimum time in business 6 months. We also have NASA Federal Credit Union. Our score is 8.5 over 10. Okay, and here the loan amount fluctuates between $5,000 and $1 million, APR up to 8.35%, minimum FICO 500, minimum time in business 6 months. Okay, so you can see that all those loans, they accept applicants with poor or fair credit, and the loans here are huge, and they are EIN only. You got to structure things in a certain way so that the loan can be EIN only. And beside NASA, we have Consumers Credit Union. Our score 8.5 over 10. And membership here follows a simple two-step process. You pay a one-time non-refundable $5 fee to their sponsor, the Consumers Cooperative Association, and then you deposit and maintain a minimum $5 in your membership share and savings account. So loan amounts goes from $10,000 to $500,000, APR up to 5.85%, minimum FICO 575, and minimum time in business 6 months. And then we have the Teachers Federal Credit Union. Here again, you have, this is a 8 over 10 in our view, and the loan amounts $5,000 to $250,000, $250,000, and the APR up to 9.5%, minimum FICO 550, and minimum time in business 4 months. And then we have America First Credit Union. Our score 8 over 10 rather, and the loan amount here is from $10,000 to $1 million, APR up to 7.85, minimum FICO 550, and minimum time in business 2 months, or 3 months rather, 3 months. And then last but not the least, we have Navy Fed. And Navy Fed is, we scored this institution 7.5 over 10 in the category of credit unions that cater to poor and fair credit applicants. All right, but they're good for excellent credit, but for this category they are not good for you, but you can still try them. The loan amount goes from $5,000 to $100,000, APR up to 5.75%, minimum FICO 525, and minimum time in business 6 months. So you have it. So these are the huge EIN only business loans from credit unions that you might want to qualify for. So check them out. Step number 7, folks. I want you to understand credit unions' loan conditions. So to do this, I'm going to show you a simple business loan application form from Consumers Credit Union. This is a pure EIN only business loan application, and I'm gonna walk you through all the elements to explain exactly what you need to pay attention to here. So first, you can see on the screen the first screenshot. So where they're asking you things like, if you look here, they are asking you, for example, we intend to apply for a joint credit. So you can actually, that's if you have two co-borrowers, then you want to initial. If not, then don't check anything. Okay. So first, they want to have your information. So the applicant information, basic, right? So you have to put your name, first name, mailing address, so on and so forth. And they're asking you for your federal tax number, your social security number. This is for identification purposes. And I'm going to show you how to do this so they don't actually do a hard pull on your personal credit. This is an EIN only business loan application. So they are showing you your phone number, all that kind of stuff. And then they are actually asking you your proposed credit facility, how much you really want, your proposed loan terms. This is where you say how much over how many months you want to repay the loan, what kind of interest rates you want. Do you want fixed, variable, or no preference? Again, this will depend on your liquidity, your internal liquidity trends, right? Is your company generating enough cash to weather liquidity storm? So because if you have variable, the consequences are different from when you have fixed. And they want to know here the business purpose of the loan. As I told you before, they want to know what the money will be used for. And the second screenshot, they're asking you for the type of collateral. Here you don't have to answer if you don't want, because a lot of those EIN only loans don't ask for collateral. But if you have collateral you want to pledge yourself, then go ahead and put it there. And they also are asking you your payment type. Do you want installment payment, single payments, also called balloon payments, seasonal payments, whatever? This is the kind of stuff you can discuss with the loan rep, right? Screenshot number 3. Member business loan application. They are asking you more information about your business. So do you want to describe the business, the type of organization, whether you're a C Corp, nonprofit, LLC, LLP, that kind of stuff. They want to have the name of the business, the DBA name, doing business as, the state of organization, They want to have if you need to attach copies based on the kind of corporation you have. If you have a corporation, you need to have articles of incorporation. If you have LLC, you need to have articles of organization, right? And the screenshot number 4, they're asking you really like to provide information about the principal place of business and the proposed guarantor if there is one. Step number 8, folks. Step number 8, you need to prepare to compromise. What I'm trying to say here is that based on your credit report, on the credit score, you might not qualify for the full amount. If you want $500,000, for example, you might only qualify for $200,000. This is why I repeat it here. Never apply for a credit union, an EIN only business loan from a credit union or a bank. Never apply online. You always want to contact the credit union or bank. You want to go to a branch. You want to go to the nearest branch. You want to print their application from the internet. You want to fill it out, and you want to go and have a conversation with the rep. You want to explain to them. You want to, and while you're going, you need to bring along your business plan, your business pitch. You need to bring along your forecasted data. You need to bring along your business tax returns. You need to bring along everything and have a conversation with the loan rep. You want to have a rendezvous. You want to get an appointment and discuss that. So, for example, they're talking about proposed guarantor. You don't have to have a guarantor if you play the game right. If you tell them what you're looking for, they might actually qualify you. So you need to prepare to compromise for a lower amount. In some cases, you might be willing to compromise for a partial personal guarantee. It really depends on your situation. If you think that having a personal guarantee partially at least is not a biggie, well, go ahead and do it, right? And also, you might be given a shorter repayment term. So if you're asking for 7 years or 5 years, they might be giving you 3 years. Are you comfortable with that? Think about it. You have to think about that. Okay. And also think about co-borrowing. So you're thinking about getting a huge EIN only business loan from a credit union, but you have a bad or fair credit and you can't qualify. Well, guess what? You can actually increase your chances of being approved by enlisting somebody else. So you can co-sign the loan. Just remember that the person has to have a better credit score than you, right? And also, what about thinking about getting a loan from several lenders at once? So you can actually apply in 3 places. Let's say you're trying to raise $500,000 and your credit union can only lend you up to $200,000. You can actually raise the other $300,000 rather, from a local bank where you currently have a relationship, and through also a nonprofit, right? So nonprofits usually they offer micro loans. You can get up to $50,000. We've heard based on our research that nonprofits such as Action sometimes give up to $250,000 in loans. Okay, so you want to think about actually expanding your lender basket. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was explaining to you how to get a huge EIN only business loan from a credit union if you have a bad or a fair credit. Number 1, you want to join 1 or 2 credit unions. You want to plan it in advance, start building credit, estimate how much you need, substantiate your loan request, know the best credit unions for you, understand credit union loan conditions, and prepare to compromise. Thank you so much for your attention again. I will see you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.